your first thing is that you will find your cash flow from operating activity, right?
Yeah.
When you have your cash flow from operating activities, your first starting point is what?
Starting point will be your operating profits.
Your operating profit. In your operating profit, what will you do?
Operating profit, you will add your non-operating expenses.
You will add your depreciation on the assets.
Yeah, I add your depreciation and your
And you will add the loss on sale of asset.
yeah,
Depreciation is what?
depreciation. What do you mean by it?
It is
Non-operating
cash
expenses.
expense. It is non-cash expense.
Yeah, non-cash expense.
Loss on sale is what? Non-operating.
Non-operating.
Yes.
Mm.
And you will minus the profit on sale of asset. Yeah.
Yeah, miss.
Okay. So what will you get when you do that? You will get cash flow before changes in working capital. What will
Yeah,
you get? Cash flow.
cash flow before changes in working capital.
So now we are going to find, we will do, how do you calculate depreciation of the depreciation for the year or the profit or loss on sale of asset. Are you with me?
Yeah,
Now,
miss.
our target for today is to calculate depreciation or profit or loss on sale of asset.
Yeah,
Now, if you see over here, you have two things. Following information is provided, and you have to calculate depreciation and profit or loss on sale. Sale of asset is also called disposal of asset. Are you with me? Now you
yeah,
have property, plant, and equipment at the beginning of the year. Yeah. And you have your property, plant, and equipment at the end of the year. Can you see this?
yeah.
So, is there a difference between the two? Both are at cost.
Yeah, there's a decrease.
There is a decrease. That means you have sold a non-current asset of cost 50,000.
Yeah,
Very good. Now, if you see depreciation, you will see that you have depreciation over here at the beginning and you have depreciation at the end, which is definitely increasing. Yes?
yeah.
Okay, fine. What do you have to calculate? You have to
The depreciation profit.
calculate the profit or loss on sale of asset.
Yeah,
Are you with me?
yeah.
How do you calculate depreciation?
Miss, you just added on to your what is it, operating profits.
But how will you calculate the depreciation? What is the depreciation for the current year?
Oh,
You
miss,
have to calculate two.
selling.
First, you have to calculate the depreciation of the current year.
Yeah,
And second thing, an asset that is costing 50,000, it is sold for. It is sold for how much? 8,000.
8,000. So, miss, it will be your selling price versus notebook value.
And it
Net.
has a carrying value of 13,000.
Yeah.
So can you give me the profit or loss on sale of asset?
So, miss, sold for 8,000, subtracted with your 13,000. You will have the loss of 5.
So the asset whose carrying value is how much? 13,000. It
Yeah.
is sold for 8,000. Asset whose carrying value is 13,000. It is sold for 8,000. So you have a loss on sale of asset. How much?
5,000.
You have a loss on sale of asset 5,000. Okay, very good. Now your other task is you have to calculate your depreciation of the current year. I will give you two methods to calculate depreciation of the current year. First method is closing depreciation, okay, provisions. Closing depreciation provisions, okay, add depreciation on disposal of asset. The asset that you sold, that depreciation you will add. From that, you will subtract opening depreciation. You will get depreciation of current year. You want this figure. Either you do this or alternative, you need to memorize this format, put it in your notes. Your main target is to calculate the depreciation of the current year. Okay, either you can do this or you can make an account like this, which is called the provision for depreciation. Provision for depreciation, the opening depreciation, opening provision will come here for depreciation. Closing provision for depreciation will come here. Depreciation on asset disposed will come here. And the main thing that you have to find out is your depreciation for current year. You can choose any of the method. You have to find out this. Why do I have to find out depreciation of the current year is because I need to add it back to your operating profit. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Fine. Now if I say I know my closing depreciation is how much?
475.
Okay, my closing depreciation is 475,000. My opening depreciation is how much?
430.
Sorry,
430.
430,000. Now depreciation on disposal. How will you calculate?
Miss, you have to add your depreciation on disposal.
Yeah, so what is your depreciation on disposal? Let's see.
5,000, right?
Asset had cost how much?
Costed 50,000.
So costs minus depreciation gives me the carrying value.
Yeah.
I know the cost of the asset disposed.
What?
I know the cost of the asset disposed.
Yeah.
Do I know the carrying value of the asset disposed?
Yeah.
How much?
13,000.
So can you give me the depreciation of asset disposed? Costs minus depreciation gives me carrying value.
37.
So the depreciation of the asset disposed is 37,000. I found it out by just subtracting. Okay, going reverse. Are you
Yeah.
with me? So the depreciation of the asset disposed is 37,000. Are you with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is the depreciation of the current year? It will be 475,000. Closing depreciation, add the depreciation on disposal minus the opening depreciation. So 82,000 is the depreciation for the current year. This I need to add back. Yeah, this I need to add back
Yeah.
depreciation of the non-current asset, and I also need to add the loss on sale of non-current asset.
Yeah.
So whatever is my profit, operating profit, okay, in that I will add the depreciation of the current year and I will add the loss on sale of asset. How will I get depreciation of current year? Closing depreciation, add
Closing
depreciation on
position.
disposal minus opening depreciation. Are you with me?
Wait, miss.
I want you to try this sum yourself, where I'm telling you I want to find out operating cash flow before working capital changes. Profit from operations is 150 to 750. Now, I want you to again try and work out based on the explanation given. Depreciation of the current year and profit or loss on sale of asset and arrive at operating cash flow before working capital changes. Do it, and after it is done, go to activity 1. And if you have doubts, you will ask me again. I'll explain me this sum. What is there in this sum?
Okay, miss. They just want you to calculate the value of depreciation and
Depreciation
then
of
the
what?
what?
Depreciation of the current year.
Yeah.
And
And the profit or loss in the statement of cash flow.
okay, profit or loss on sale of asset. If it is loss on sale of asset, what will happen to it?
It
Added.
will get added on. The
And
yeah.
it will get subtracted. Okay, fine. Tell me then, how
Wait,
did
give
you
me a second. Yeah. So I got 330 as the this thing depreciation
no first tell me now
opening. Wait, a minute. Okay. So miss, what I did was I used the format,
for
the
depreciation.
one closing depreciation. Yeah, for depreciation, I just used the format of the closing depreciation, the disposal, depreciation on disposal, and then the opening depreciation. That it gave me 135.
What is the closing depreciation?
The closing was 365.
Opening depreciation was 330,000.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
depreciation on disposal. Basically, it's mentioned over here with the depreciation to date of £100,000. So I've just
Depreciation.
added that in.
Okay, 1 minute. Cost of the asset that was sold. First, you know that the asset is sold.
Yeah, so it's around 250. 250 is the cost. I
Yeah.
just subtracted the £100,000, which will give you the carry value, which is 150.
So 100,000 was the depreciation. So the carrying value of the asset sold is 150,000. Okay. Disposal is
And then it was
disposal depreciation is how
sold
much?
for 1 1.
100,000.
Depreciation is 100.
So depreciation of current year is
Yeah,
how much? Depreciation of current year is how much?
135,000.
135,000. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Carrying value of the asset sold is 150
150. Yeah.
and it is sold
So
for,
115.
yeah. So is it
Yeah,
profit?
so it's a loss.
How much?
th-
Sorry,
35,000.
it is a loss for 35,000. When you make your statement of
Yeah,
cash flow, you start with what?
the operating profit.
Operating profit. In your operating profit, what do you add?
You add your loss on assets sold.
Loss on sale or loss on disposal of asset, and what do you add more?
Depreciation.
Depreciation on asset. So what will you get after doing this?
You get cash flow. Um,
What will you get after doing this?
Cash flow after working capital.
Operating profit before changes in working capital.
Operating profit before. Yeah.
Yes, before changes in working capital. Now let's talk about the changes in the working capital. Okay. So operating cash flow before working capital changes we have already done.